All right, here's another example similar to, but not identical to, what we had on our assessment. In this case, I have a 45 kilogram person sliding at a constant speed down a ramp. And the ramp has an angle of 35 degrees here. So the way I'm going to draw this, because I saw a lot of people struggling with this particular drawing, I'm going to mimic that here with my free body diagram. So this is 35 degrees. So on my free body diagram, I'm going to put this is like my dot that represents my 45 kilogram person. Straight down, that's pretty hard, pretty large. Let's shrink that a little bit. Straight down, I know that I have a force of gravity. Force of gravity is always straight down toward the center of the Earth. Presumably, our image is not rotated in some way, and so it has to be straight down. So force of gravity in this case is equal to 450 newtons. The rest of the forces that I know exist are there's some sort of, well, we know that there's a normal force pushing up, and that normal force is perpendicular to the surface. And then I know that since this individual is sliding at a constant speed, there's some force of friction pushing up the ramp. Otherwise, this person would be accelerating. So now, since the normal force and force of friction are perpendicular to each other, I know that I need to split the force of gravity into its x and y components. So I'm going to rotate my x and y axis. This becomes my x-axis. My y-axis is straight up and down, or not straight up and down, it's down in through the ramp and perpendicular to the ramp. So this is my force of gravity x. This is a force of gravity y. Now, notice, of course, that the force of gravity x could also be this part down here. That's also Fgx. I draw it up above here because it makes more sense in the context of the other forces. All right, so what else do we know? Well, this is 35 degrees. I know that that is 35 degrees. And so I know that sine of 35 degrees is equal to Fgx over force of gravity, and cosine of 35 degrees is equal to Fgy over force of gravity. I can simplify this to say then, if I rearrange it, that Fgx is equal to Fg times sine of 35, or 450 sine of 35, y equals 450 cosine 35. And that, in this case, Fgx ends up being 258 newtons, and Fgy ends up being 369 newtons.